Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The harder you try to break me, the more I'll show you what unbreakable truly looks like. There's a strange phenomenon in life. The more you try to crush something that's built to endure, the stronger it gets. Psychologists call it the antifragility effect. Some people actually grow under pressure instead of shattering, and no one embodies this better than a Sigma. Trying to break a Sigma is like punching water. You'll exhaust yourself while they remain calm, flowing, and just out of reach. But here's the kicker. It's not because they're untouchable by nature. Oh no. They've earned that resilience. One hard lesson at a time. If you've ever wondered what happens when someone tries to take them down, spoiler alert, it doesn't end well. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the psychology of why trying to break a Sigma isn't just futile. It's a one-way ticket to your own frustration. Trust me, it's going to be as enlightening as it is entertaining. Number one, they don't need to win, they need to outlast. Sigmas understand one simple truth. Life isn't about who wins today, tomorrow, or even next week. It's about who's still standing when the dust settles. While others get caught up in petty power plays or short-term victories, a Sigma is already thinking miles ahead. They don't care about small wins or flashy moments of dominance. They're focused on outlasting anyone who thinks they can bring them down. When someone tries to break a Sigma, they might feel like they're winning at first. They'll throw insults, create drama, or try to pull the rug out from under them, and for a moment, it might seem like the Sigma has stumbled. But here's the thing, Sigmas are masters of endurance. They don't crumble under pressure, they absorb it. While others waste energy plotting and scheming, the Sigma steps back, regroups, and plays the waiting game. They know patience isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. The person trying to break them, they usually burn out. Anger, manipulation, and control are exhausting, and most people can't sustain it for long. Meanwhile, the Sigma stays calm, observing and adapting. And when the storm finally passes, the Sigma is still standing, stronger, wiser, and completely unfazed. The beauty of this approach is that Sigmas don't even need to fight back directly. Their resilience alone frustrates and disarms their opponent. Breaking a Sigma is like trying to outlast a glacier. You might chip away at the surface, but you'll never touch the core. They'll endure long after you've run out of energy, leaving you to realize far too late that the game you thought you were winning wasn't even worth playing. Number two, they can outsmart you without lifting a finger. Sigmas have an uncanny ability to make people self-destruct without ever getting their hands dirty. They don't need loud confrontations, dramatic comebacks, or even the satisfaction of watching their enemies fall apart. Because they know it'll happen anyway. Their intelligence isn't just about being smart, it's about being strategic. Sigmas think in terms of cause and effect, reading people like an open book and predicting moves before they're even made. When someone comes at a Sigma aggressively, trying to break them, the Sigma doesn't react emotionally. That's where the brilliance lies. They don't fight fire with fire. They let the flames burn out on their own. By refusing to engage in petty battles, they make their opponent look desperate, childish, and quite frankly, ridiculous. Nothing frustrates someone more than swinging punches at a ghost. What makes it worse is the Sigma's natural ability to expose flaws without even trying. Their calm demeanor, sharp intellect, and refusal to play dirty create an unspoken pressure on their enemies. The more someone tries to hurt or manipulate them, the more their own insecurities and weaknesses come to the surface. The Sigma doesn't retaliate because they don't have to. Their very existence is a mirror, reflecting back everything the other person is trying to hide. In the end, the person trying to break a Sigma often unravels from the inside out. It's not that the Sigma is plotting their downfall, it's that their intelligence and emotional mastery make them untouchable. They know the best revenge isn't revenge at all, it's watching the other person implode under the weight of their own games. Number three, the harder you push, the more they retreat into power. When someone pushes a Sigma too hard, they don't break, panic, or lash out. Instead, they retreat into their core self, their sanctuary of strength, clarity, and unshakable resolve. This isn't running away, it's recalibrating. Sigmas know that their greatest power lies within, where they are free from external noise, manipulations, or anyone else's expectations. This retreat is where they assess, adapt, and grow. While others might crumble under pressure or lose themselves in trying to prove a point, a Sigma thrives in solitude. They don't need validation or anyone cheering them on to rebuild. In fact, the harder someone tries to break them, the more determined they become to rise above it, not for revenge, but to reaffirm to themselves that no one has the power to control them. It's ironic, really. The harder someone pushes, the more they unknowingly fuel the Sigma's transformation. Every insult, obstacle, or betrayal becomes fuel for their evolution. They take the pain, pressure, and chaos and mold it into something stronger, sharper, and more unbreakable than before. And when they return, they're no longer just resilient, they're untouchable. The beauty of this process is that it's entirely internal. There's no show, no performance, no need for validation. The Sigma isn't trying to prove anything to anyone, they're simply fortifying themselves for their own sake. And by the time the person trying to break them realizes what's happened, it's already too late. The Sigma has become a force of nature, calm, composed, and completely out of reach. Trying to break them doesn't just fail. It ends up strengthening them in ways their opponent can't even comprehend. Number 4, they turn humiliation into growth. For a Sigma, humiliation isn't an end, it's a stepping stone. When someone tries to embarrass or demean them, it doesn't stick the way it might with others. Instead, they analyze the situation with brutal honesty, stripping away the emotional sting to uncover the valuable lesson buried beneath the insult. That's the thing about Sigmas. They don't waste time wallowing in self-pity or letting shame define them. They're too busy figuring out how to use the experience to fuel their growth. What's even more remarkable is how they turn these moments into stories of triumph. What was meant to humiliate them becomes a badge of honor, a plot twist in their success narrative. While others might crumble under public ridicule or personal attacks, Sigmas take notes, adapt, and bounce back stronger. They see the attempted humiliation as a mirror, forcing them to confront any areas where they can improve or become even more untouchable. The person who tries to humiliate a Sigma often ends up unknowingly contributing to their greatness. The attempt becomes part of the Sigma's origin story, the kind of tale they'll recount later with a smirk, not tears. Remember when someone tried to take me down? That's the moment I decided to level up. This transformation isn't just about resilience, it's about mastery. Sigmas have an innate ability to flip the script, turning what was meant to diminish them into the very thing that propels them forward. And the irony? The person who tried to break them gets reduced to a footnote in the Sigma's story, a minor character in the narrative of their unstoppable rise. Number 5, they don't care enough to retaliate. Sigmas have mastered the art of indifference, and it's their secret weapon. They don't waste energy on petty revenge or crafting elaborate schemes to get even. Why? Because they simply don't care enough. Their time, focus, and emotional bandwidth are reserved for things that matter, things that help them grow, evolve, or achieve their goals. The drama others bring to their doorstep is treated like background noise, acknowledged briefly, then ignored entirely. This lack of retaliation is maddening to those who try to break them. When someone expects a fight only to be met with silence, it feels like hitting a wall that doesn't even bother to hit back. The aggressor ends up stewing in their own frustration, questioning why their actions didn't provoke the response they were hoping for. It's a brutal form of psychological warfare, delivered unintentionally by the Sigma's sheer disinterest. Sigmas understand that engaging in retaliation is a waste of energy. Every reaction would be giving their adversary too much power, and they refuse to hand over control of their emotions or actions. By remaining detached, they flip the dynamic entirely. The person trying to break them becomes desperate for acknowledgement while the Sigma continues living their life, unfazed and unbothered. Silence, in this case, speaks volumes. It sends a clear message. You're not important enough for me to waste my time on. And that, more than any revenge plot or verbal takedown, cuts deep. It leaves their adversary feeling small, irrelevant, and ultimately defeated. Not because the Sigma fought back, but because they never even considered it worth their time. That kind of indifference is a level of power few can handle, and it's why trying to break a Sigma always ends up backfiring spectacularly. Number 6, they don't give power away. Breaking someone depends on one critical factor, making them care about your opinion. Without that, the entire plan crumbles. This is exactly why Sigmas are so untouchable. They don't give their power away. Your approval, disapproval, praise, or criticism simply doesn't hold weight in their world. They're not playing the game where your opinion determines their worth. and that's what makes them unbreakable. When someone tries to harm a Sigma, whether it's through insults, manipulation, or sabotage, they're met with an unnerving calm. The Sigma doesn't get defensive, doesn't scramble to prove anything, and certainly doesn't internalize the attack. Why? Because they've already decided whose opinions matter in their life, and spoiler alert, it's not the person trying to take them down. This refusal to engage is what drives their adversaries to the brink. The harder someone tries to impose control or inflict harm, the more powerless they feel when the Sigma remains unaffected. It's like trying to move a mountain with a shove, futile and frankly embarrassing to watch. Sigmas don't need to retaliate or explain themselves. Their silence and detachment do all the talking. What's brilliant about this approach is how effortlessly it flips the script. The person trying to break the Sigma ends up looking desperate, clinging to tactics that don't land. Meanwhile, the Sigma walks away with their self-respect intact, their boundaries unshaken, and their focus still fixed on what actually matters. This isn't arrogance, it's mastery over their own energy and emotions. They've learned that giving power away is the quickest route to defeat, so they simply don't. And without that power, anyone trying to harm them is left standing there, holding nothing but their own frustration. Number 7, Sigmas aren't scared of the dark side. Sigmas have a unique relationship with their so-called dark side. While most people spend their lives hiding their flaws, suppressing their insecurities, or running from their shadows, Sigmas do the opposite. They face them head on. They've walked through their inner chaos, stared their weaknesses in the eye, and come out stronger on the other side. This self-acceptance makes them untouchable in a way that unnerves anyone trying to break them. You can't weaponize what someone has already owned. Sigmas aren't hiding skeletons in their closets. They've dragged them out, dusted them off, and turned them into furniture. Their flaws, failures, and past mistakes are things they've learned from, not things they're ashamed of. So when someone tries to dig up dirt or exploit their vulnerabilities, they're left empty-handed. What can you do to someone who's already made peace with their imperfections? This fearlessness gives Sigmas a psychological edge. They understand that everyone has a dark side, but unlike most, they don't let it control them. Instead, they integrate it into who they are, turning what others might see as weaknesses into sources of strength. This self-awareness makes them unshakable. It's hard to manipulate someone who's already done the hard work of facing their inner demons. Sigma's ability to embrace their shadows also means they aren't easily intimidated. They've been through the worst parts of themselves and survived, so no external force feels threatening enough to bring them down. The irony is that the more someone tries to exploit their flaws, the more the Sigma's resilience shines through, leaving their would-be breaker frustrated and powerless. There's no breaking someone who's already mastered the parts of themselves others are too afraid to even acknowledge. Number 8, they adapt faster than anyone expects. Challenges don't break Sigmas, they sharpen them. Throw an obstacle their way, and you'll find that they don't freeze, complain, or crumble. Instead, they adapt with such speed and precision that it's almost unnerving. What someone meant to slow them down only fuels their progress. It's as if every curveball life throws at them becomes raw material for their personal growth. While others get caught in the chaos, Sigmas are already 2 steps ahead, adjusting their strategy and finding a way through. What sets them apart is their mindset. Sigmas don't view challenges as attacks, they see them as puzzles to solve or opportunities to evolve. Even when situations feel overwhelming, they instinctively shift their focus from "why is this happening" to "what can I do about it?" That mental flexibility means they waste no time in self-pity or resentment. Instead, they channel all their energy into action, often catching everyone off guard with how quickly they rebound. The more someone tries to overwhelm a Sigma, the stronger and more resourceful they become. It's like trying to douse a fire with gasoline. It only makes the flames more intense. What's worse for their adversaries is that Sigmas don't broadcast their adaptation process. While others might flail or show visible frustration, Sigmas quietly recalibrate. By the time anyone notices, they've already turned the tables. This adaptability makes breaking them nearly impossible. Every challenge, setback, or attack becomes another tool in their arsenal. It's not just resilience, it's evolution in real time. The irony is that the person trying to break them often ends up unwittingly contributing to their growth. Instead of stopping a Sigma, they accelerate their transformation, leaving the aggressor baffled and, quite frankly, outmatched. Number 9, they'll let you think you've won. Sigmas have no interest in wasting energy on small, meaningless victories. They understand that battles of ego rarely lead to anything productive, so they'll often let someone think they've won. It's not surrender, it's strategy. They know that the best way to disarm someone who's out to break them is to let them feel triumphant, all while quietly regrouping in the background. This is where Sigmas play the long game. While the other person is busy celebrating their supposed win, the Sigma is recalibrating, learning, and building themselves back stronger. They don't feel the need to prove anything in the moment because they know their true power isn't in showing off, it's in their ability to bounce back sharper and more untouchable than before. This tactic often catches their adversaries off guard. By the time a Sigma resurfaces, the person who thought they'd won realizes they were fighting a ghost the entire time. The Sigma isn't just unaffected, they've used the experience to level up, making the attempted victory feel hollow and irrelevant. What makes this approach so effective is its subtlety. Sigmas don't broadcast their comebacks with loud declarations or flashy moves. They let their actions speak for themselves. When they reappear, it's not to rub their success in anyone's face. It's simply to continue living their life on their own terms, leaving their opponent stuck in the past. In the end, the person who tried to break them is left confused, wondering how the Sigma emerged stronger despite the apparent win. It's a masterful blend of patience, resilience, and self-control. By refusing to engage in petty battles, Sigmas maintain their dignity while quietly rendering their opponent's efforts meaningless. Number 10, they know how to make their absence painful. Sigmas have a way of making their absence echo louder than their presence ever could. When someone pushes too hard, trying to break them, the Sigma's ultimate response is often to walk away completely. And that's when the real punishment begins. Breaking a Sigma doesn't result in a dramatic fight or a public spectacle. It results in their complete withdrawal, leaving a void so profound it feels like the air has been sucked out of the room. Sigmas are not easily replaceable. Their unique combination of independence, insight, and quiet strength creates a presence that people don't fully appreciate until it's gone. They don't demand attention, so their contributions often fly under the radar until they're no longer there. That's when the magnitude of their absence hits hard. The calm they brought, the solutions they offered, the unspoken support they gave, it all becomes glaringly obvious in their absence, leaving those who tried to break them with nothing but regret. This absence is their silent form of revenge. There's no shouting, no dramatic exits, just a clean, definitive removal of themselves from a situation or relationship. It's a withdrawal that forces others to face the consequences of their actions. The silence that follows isn't just quiet, it's deafening. People quickly realize that no one else can fill the space a Sigma leaves behind, and that realization stings more than any argument or confrontation ever could. What's most powerful about this response is how effortless it is. The Sigma doesn't have to lift a finger or say a word. Their value speaks for itself in their absence. And for the person who tried to break them, the loss becomes a permanent reminder that some people, once lost, can never truly be replaced. In the end, trying to break a Sigma always backfires because they aren't just individuals, they're forces of nature, fully aware of their own strength, self-sufficient and unshaken by the world's attempts to bring them down. What others see as weaknesses, they turn into untapped reservoirs of power. They don't need validation, don't fear challenges, and certainly don't give anyone the satisfaction of witnessing their struggle. To try and break a Sigma is to mistake their silence for weakness and their calm for defeat. But the reality is far more complex. They are biding their time, adapting and evolving while the world flails around them. The most potent weapon a Sigma has isn't aggression or defiance, it's their unwavering sense of self. They play the long game, and when they step away, it's not out of defeat. It's to remind the world just how irreplaceable they truly are. Their absence doesn't just leave a gap, it leaves a lesson in resilience, strength, and quiet power that echoes far louder than any temporary victory someone might try to claim. So, in the end, those who try to break a Sigma only find themselves facing the most formidable opponent of all, a person who doesn't need to fight back because they're already untouchable. The Sigma doesn't just survive, they thrive, leaving a trail of those who mistakenly thought they could be broken, but instead just became witnesses to the unshakable force that is their true essence. If you've made it this far, you're already part of an exclusive club, those who understand that strength, resilience, and true power come in forms most people can't even comprehend. So if you want more of this insight, more of the untold truths, and a deeper dive into the mysteries that make Sigma personalities so unshakable, hit that subscribe button now. You're not just subscribing to a channel, you're joining a movement. Let's uncover more layers of greatness together. Don't miss out, because when we talk about true power, you don't want to be left in the shadows. Bye for now and see you in the next video.